We're still talking about the Giants' 100th anniversary here in 2024, as this season marks that 100th season that the New York Giants have played football. We have one of the greatest teams in Giants history coming up, one that many of you remember, coming up in just a moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history. Your host, Darin Hays, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darin Hays of PigskinDispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal to positive football history, and welcome to another New York Giants 100 series, where today we're going to talk about a great team in Giants history that many of us remember from the Super Bowl era. Now, the Giants had won some great championships back, in the 20s, and they won some in the 30s, But coming into the Super Bowl era, their last championship game that they won was 1956. So it went almost 3 decades, the franchise did, without winning a championship. They played in some, like the 58 championship, which was a greatest game ever played, but they ended up losing that to the Colts. But 30 years after their final championship in the 50s, they finally put together all the pieces that could take a team all the way to something great. Before we get into that, let's make sure that you know where to go to subscribe. You can click the little subscribe button here on YouTube channel and hit the notification bell, so every time we have something new come up, you will be notified and you'll be ready to go with some great football history, New York Giants 100, and many other great things in football history. So I think you're really going to enjoy that. So please stay tuned and hit that subscribe button for us today. Yeah, so the 1986 season marks something very special for Giants fans. Generations had not seen them win championships until the 1986 season. And we're going to have a special guest we had on last year, Gary Myers, who was one of the initial NFL insiders on HBO and ESPN, had this to say about his team.
Well, I certainly think Parcells had a lot to do with it, as did Belichick. George Young, the general manager, built the foundation of that team with Phil Simms and Lawrence Taylor and Carl Banks. They both inherited Harry Carson and George Martin. So Parcells, once he got on the same page with George Young, and George really understood the kind of players that Bill wanted, he did a really good job supplying him with players that fit into his system and that he could win with. The 86 team was the Giants' first championship in 30 years. But they went into that season fully confident that it was their turn. They had made the playoffs in 84 and 85. They lost both times in the divisional round. And they thought they were taking those steps that were going to lead to a championship, and felt 86 was their year. And, you had some really powerful teams. The 84 49ers, the 85 Bears, and the 86 Giants. I think now that we look back on the entirety of the Super Bowl era.
Yeah, they definitely put it all together and had a great season in 1986. But many people don't realize that the Giants came out on their very first game, a Monday night football game on September 8th, and lost to their rivals, the Dallas Cowboys. It was a close game right down till the end, but the Giants ended up falling in that game 31-28 to the vaunted Cowboys team. And the Cowboys end up scoring 14 points in the final quarter to take that victory, 31-28. So they started off putting the Giants in a position of being 0-1 on the season, and things weren't looking too good, after those two brilliant seasons, 84 and 85. But they put it all together. Next, they came out and smoked the San Diego Chargers 20-7. Then they defeated the LA Raiders 14-9. And then next week, New Orleans Saints, they beat them 2017 in a real thriller. I went right down to the wire. Another nail biter was another victory. St. Louis Cardinals were defeated by the Giants 13-6 in week 5. And on October 12th, they went to another divisional game, this time against the Philadelphia Eagles. And they blew the doors off the Eagles. 35-3 was the win there. But then they got into a little bit of a slump because they went out to play Seattle out on the West Coast, and the 12th man came alive in the Kingdome, and the Seahawks romped 12-17. Again, it was a close game. The Giants just couldn't overcome that, so they were sitting there at 5-2. Then they went to a bunch of divisional games. They defeated the Redskins 27-20. Got some revenge on the Cowboys 17-14 in New York, and then defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 17-14, identical scores. They then went north and played the Minnesota Vikings, beat them by 2, 22-20. Defeated the Broncos 19-16, with the Broncos were a very good team at that time with John Elway playing. And then the 49ers, who were, probably the premier team of that era, the Giants beat them at San Francisco 21-17, and people really started to take notice of them then. Then another game with the Redskins, 24-14 was a win. St. Louis Cardinals 27-7. They knocked off the Cardinals, who were a division rival at that time in the old NFC East. And then a game with the Green Bay Packers to end the season, 55-24. The first round of the playoffs, they played the 49ers again. And boy, this time they played it in New York, and what a difference that made. The Giants won by 46 points, 49-3. They beat the powerful San Francisco 49ers. And they defeated the Redskins for the third time. 17-0 was that score. And then in the Super Bowl, they played the Denver Broncos, who they had beaten earlier in the year by 3. This time they won by 19, 39-20. And what a game that truly was there in the Super Bowl. And the ended up being played in the Rose Bowl. Dan Reeves against Bill Parcells. And what a game that was. The Giants went, were down on the scoreboard. Rich Karlis kicked a 48-yard field goal. The Giants came back with Phil Simms throwing to Zeke Mowat for a 6-yard touchdown pass, take the lead 7-3. But Elway came storming back, took the lead 10-7 when he ran in from 4 yards out. And the Giants safety Martin tackled Elway in the end zone to make it 10-9 for a safety. And Mark Bavaro caught a 13-yard pass from Simms. It goes 10-16 in the third quarter. Raul Alegre, 21-yard field goal. Joe Morris scored a 1-yard touchdown, and the Giants are up 26-10. Then Phil McConkey, a 6-yard pass from Simms to make it 33-10. And Rich Karlis kicked a field goal. But Otis Anderson, 2-yard rush in the fourth quarter to make it 39-13. And Van Johnson caught a 47-yard pass from John Elway to put the Broncos at 20 on the scoreboard, losing by 19, and getting that game for them. Phil Simms was your Super Bowl MVP, and the Giants won their first Super Bowl in 30 years. So 86 was a great season for them. Great players like Lawrence Taylor were a big part of that. But, just some tremendous play and some tremendous coaching from Belichick and Parcells. And the Giants are Super Bowl champions. So wait till next time. We'll talk about some more great Giants history next Monday. And hope you enjoy that, and hope you stay tuned. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and check out some of our books on pigskindispatch.com. We have one, Greasy Met the Wonder Coach, a story of the 1922 Rose Bowl, which is great for a Christmas gift. Also, you can look at our book from last year, The World's Greatest Pro Gridiron Team, 1903 Franklin All-Stars. I think you'll enjoy that. Check out pigskindispatch.com, Pigskin Dispatch Podcast, and everything here on the YouTube channel, Pigskin Dispatch. Till next time, everybody, have a great gridiron day. That's all the football history we have today, folks. Join us back tomorrow for more of your football history. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. Special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.